Hey, good afternoon. My name is Daniel Young. I'm the owner and founder of Adaptive Perspective and the Adaptive Perspective channel, where I help you make your dreams a reality. I am feeling much better than the last couple of weeks, and I am kind of prepped and ready to go. So if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that I love strategy, targeted strategy, and that awareness is key because I'm going to keep sifting these financial memes using our investment strategies along with some everyday down to earth common sense. Uh, Disclaimers. Even though I'm feeling better, I still might cough or sneeze. I apologize if that bothers you. Uh, it's not my intention to distract you. It's just the reality of life. This is an unedited video, so who knows what else you'll hear in the background as I film these in my house. I do not have plans of showing our closed-end fund system today, but we'll see. And then I am not a financial advisor. I am a financial strategist. So as I film these videos, it's not my goal to slander anybody. I'm just interested in separating the good from the bad when it comes to financial advice because none of us want bad financial advice, or none of us want bad advice in general as we navigate our finances. So let's look at the Pinterest page. So this is my page, and it continues to grow, which is a good thing. More information for more people. We are operating on this board. If you, which you'll see, there's 539. I've combined two pins, so now one short. But I still have more memes to add. We are at the bottom of the board, or almost at the bottom of the board, and specifically on this pin, which will relate to this other Rich Dad post, but we're going to stick with this one today. So these are someone's notes, and I have no idea if this is my Google Drive and I pinned it from there, or somebody else's Google Drive. So I will be repinning this. Um, but these are somebody's notes from the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. And if you haven't read it, it's a really eye-opening experience because it's not that he had two dads in the sense of he had two physical dads. He had two different teaching, like he had a friend's dad and his dad that were his two financial dads. And they taught him very different types of financial structure and financial strategy. So you have one mindset versus another. And the vast majority of us operate in poor dad mindset. So I'm not going to read all these to you, but I am going to commentate on them. So clear purpose, that's huge and that's key. And we start with that in our 12 steps on Facebook. It's before we even get into the 12 steps of our financial freedom journey, we talk about what your goals are. Like everybody's got dreams, everybody's got bucket list items. Figure those out and then talk about goals, and then it becomes your map of where you are, and you have a definitive where you want to be. And the reality is that if you ever reach those dreams, which is the goal, then you have to exist beyond it. But you have your map, which gives you that clear purpose. You have to control your emotions. There are way too many people that impulse buy cars, clothes, Amazon, Target, pick your supplier. It's like, oh, I want that. You get it, immediate gratification, but it's not always the best thing for you. In financial strategy is the same way. You have to look at everything logically, knowing your emotions, or maybe not completely disregarding your emotions, but you have to look at it logically and not let your emotions steer your course. This one's hard to understand. Work to learn, don't work to earn. Most of us occupy a full-time job or hold a full-time job, however you want to say that. And we're working to earn money. Kiyosaki would tell you, yes, that like I get that principle, but at the same time, learn from it. And if you're not learning anything from where you work that you can then apply somewhere else, that's not really helping you. Really, it's not helping you at all. Not everything I do in teaching is just isolated to teaching. How to lead, how to encourage, how to inspire, how to get people motivated. All of those things apply to my financial strategy business. So while I'm working to earn, I can also work and learn. Listening is more important. That's huge. If you watch two different, I mean, people will criticize Trump for anything. But me personally, I like the guy. If you watch Trump lead a business meeting and watch, well, to be honest, watch a lot of principals lead a meeting at school, both both leaders pull people into a room. Most principals, most athletic directors will pull people into a room and then talk to them the entire time. Like, here's what we're going to do. And they never ask your opinion. But when Trump walks into a room, whether he's, well, I mean, he calls the meeting, whether he gets invited to a meeting or whether he calls the meeting, he will hear everybody out. He doesn't say a lot unless he has something important to say. And it's a quip, not equip, like equipping a football team. It's a quip, like a response in regards to some comment made. But if you're sitting at a table and Trump is at the head, or if you're sitting on couches in the Oval Office and he's got people all around, he's normally like this and he looks grumpy, but he's letting everybody talk and taking it all in and letting them have their say so that at the end he can say, hey, you made a really good comment. I disagree, or I disagree with you, or I like this, or I don't like that. And then he gets to have his say. If you give everybody else their say, if you listen, you might not like anything they say, but if you listen and talk last, you will look like a better leader, whether you are a better leader or not. This one, don't simply aim for more income. It's not the same, but it's similar. Alex Hormozy said this about when he started his YouTube channel. I did not start the channel to earn money. I started the channel to help people. Now, at the end of the day, YouTube's earning meter, like you got to hit so many views and so many hours and so many followers and so many of this, so many of that, right? All of that's constant, but his goal was not based upon those metrics. His goal was, I'm going to start a channel and help people. What about all the money you make from YouTube? That wasn't my goal. Like, yeah, it's there, but it's not my focus. My focus is not make videos to then gain this. My focus is to make videos and help people. It's the same idea. You want Everybody wants more income, but more income outright without any kind of strategy or structure doesn't solve your problems. Look at all those newbie professional athletes. They go from making something to making a lot of money and they have no financial structure. They spend it all. Just because you make $1 million, you can spend $1.1 million or $1,100,000, be $100,000 in debt, right? Income is not your solution. Assets, whether they generate money off the top, right? Your asset, your say you buy a single family house, your single family home could break even. Your income is whatever. You make 40 grand a year in rent, but after your expenses, management, maintenance, emergency fund, fees, whatever, if that's also 40 grand, you have zero profit. But that single family home helps you on your taxes. It will increase in value. You get to depreciate it on your taxes. It's still an income, or it's still yeah, it still is. It's an income producing asset. You just don't really see it until it grows. So if you have 10 different single family homes and you're not actually making any profit, but you have all of these assets generating income and breaking even, right? In the long run and in the short run too, you're actually making profit. Uh, you become what you study. It's also you become who you're around. If your group is negative all the time, that's not helpful. Kiyosaki would say it this way: all of us have an executive board of people that are key that are key voices in your life. Everybody who sits at your table should be interested in what you're doing. So on his board, when he started out with a single, it was like a condo, but like a single family home in Hawaii. So he started in real estate. So everybody on his board of directors he wanted in real estate. He wanted his tax guy familiar with real estate. So doing the taxes for real estate, but also owning real estate. He wanted a real estate advisor. He wanted, like, even if he was invested in the stock market, he wanted his stock market guy to also own rental properties so that every single person in his group is doing similar things to where he is. And as a newbie investor, he has all of these people to talk to about what he's doing. So, in that sense, he's got everybody giving him advice about the real estate market. He's also not the smartest guy in the room. He can learn from all of these different people. And if he is the smartest guy in the room among his group of advisors, then he needs a new set of advisors because he can't learn. The last, most people, their profession is their income. That's all. Like everybody with a full-time job, and you have to have a full-time job. Whatever your profession is your source of income. I don't like the term rich people. And I get the idea of the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? But that's generality. So if we're speaking in specifics, there's a big difference between rich and wealth. If you're rich, you're just richer than someone else. And you could say the same thing about wealth, I guess. But like that guy's rich. Why do you say that? He drives this really nice sports car. Well, he might have rented it, or he might be really in debt, right? Just because you drive something fancy, just because you flash a designer purse or you pay $1,000 for those designer stilettos doesn't mean you can actually afford it, doesn't actually make you wealthy. Wealth is how long you can go without working a full-time job. So if you're wealthier than me, I mean, yeah, still a comparative term, but it, if you take all of your assets, all of your income, all of your bank account, whatever you've got, if you put it all down there, how long could you go without having to work a full-time job? And there's different forms of wealth, right? Like there's billionaire status wealth, there's millionaire status wealth, there's six-figure status wealth, there's five-figure status wealth, right? There's still a level of comparison there. But just because somebody is rich or poor, it's still a much easier term of comparison. That guy's poorer than me. That lady's richer than me. Kind of makes sense. So for wealthy people, their assets are their income. We'll go back to single family homes. So you own a single family home, you don't make much profit, outright profit, the first year or 2 or 3 years. But 4 years down the road, your property is now worth $30,000 to $40,000 more than it was when you bought it. That's the nature of real estate. Maybe it's less. Maybe it's $25,000 more than when you bought it. If you really wanted to, you can take the money out of that investment and push it forward. You could take it out and buy a car. You can take it out and buy whatever you want. Bank doesn't really care so long as they get their money back. In the sense of you pay back the loan, right? Or you refinance the loan. But you could take that money out and then buy something else, right? Or maybe you have money somewhere else that you can now buy something else. But if after 3 to 4 years, your single family home that was break even the first year or two is now sending you $200 profit a month, it's actually more than that because you can deduct your emergency fund. You can deduct extra rent stored up. You can deduct your expenses. And it really means you can deduct and decrease your overall profit in the sense of, so say your rent is 1900 and your management charges you 10%. So that's 190. Your maintenance fund is 10%. So there's another 190. That's 380. Your HOA dues, your, let's see what else, your vacancy fee needs to cover the cost of a year of rent. It's really 9%, but we'll make it 10 because that, excuse me, because that's just easier math. So you've got 190 for management, you've got 190 for maintenance. Now you have 190 for vacancy, 380, 570. And then if you save anything for your emergency fund, overall, all of those things are actually profit, but they're also tax deductible. So you're gaining at least $500 of profit every year, even though you're kind of siphoning it off and saving it for a rainy day, and you get to actually deduct it on your taxes. So instead of just the full-time job income, you actually want assets that will generate income, but you also want assets that will generate profit. And you pay taxes on the profit. So if it's 40 grand of income and 40 grand of expenses, there is no profit and there is no tax. And that's legal by our tax code, right? So it's not like you're doing anything nefarious. You're just using the tax code to your advantage. And that is how most people live their lives. Most of the people at where I work have no concept of this. Some do. The vast majority of people have no concept of this. And regardless of where they are in their educational teaching journey, whether they're newbie teacher or 40 years in, 90% of those people have no desire to exist outside that cultural metric of working 40 years until I retire. We don't fit in that metric. And chances are neither do you. So if you want to do something differently, like if you're at a full-time job because you have to, but your goal is to kind of break out of the system and be financially free, where you're not dependent upon the system, then you and I are cut from the same cloth. You and I are on similar journeys. We might be doing something completely different, but we're on similar journeys. And you have to be willing to do something different if you want a different outcome. It's Tim Kite 101. You have the event, life, retirement, that bucket list of items, right? The outcome, retiring early or retiring on time or retiring late, is all dependent on your response. So if you don't want the life plus response equals retire at 70 plus, if you don't want that paradigm, then the only thing you can change is your response. And if you change and improve and adapt and keep going on your response and working to fine tune that and make it better, then your outcome continues to change. And it really is the hinge of it. It's most people, their profession is their income, and they have no desire to change that. But some of us, me and you, and a lot of others, don't want to live that lifestyle for long. So for us, of what we want to do, we want to go from where we are to wealthy people. And we want assets generating income, whether with our full-time job income or separate from our full-time job income, whether you keep the full-time job and generate wealth and profit by asset, or whether you leave the full-time job and let the other stuff work. Either way, you and I are very similar, regardless of what we're up to. We are very similar people. So regardless of what you're up to, regardless of what your goals are, regardless of how exactly you want to be financially free and what all that entails, you captain that ship and you determine its outcome. You know where you are, you know where you want to go, you have the map. Now it's your job to figure it out and make it work. So if it could have happened, it would have happened, but it hasn't happened. Therefore, you have the map, right? The strategy will always change and improve. Your job is to make it happen, right? So you got to do the work, change your response and improve, make those dreams a reality and do the work. Wish y'all a great week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.